process. Now then, when 7-year-old Finley was diagnosed with a rare immune system disorder, his parents joined us on the sofa in a desperate attempt to find him a stem cell donor. You are on a timescale here.
They haven't given us an actual time, but we know that his meds won't keep him indefinite, and we don't take for granted. Every time he has a nosebleed or says he has a headache or a tummy ache, we're scared.
Our life's on a knife edge.
Yeah.
Well, it's on hold, isn't it, until we get him his match.
Whoever it is that's watching this now could save someone's life and could help you.
Yeah, just not only for me, but other people they might help. And
absolutely.
Well, 2 months on, the family have finally received the call they've been waiting for.
Back to tell us the good news, we're joined by Finley, alongside his mum and dad, Joe and Paul. Also got Dave the dog there. It's important to mention Dave. And also Ollie the Brave, who is sitting there as well. So we'll talk about those in just a moment. But what effect did coming on this show have?
Oh, well, it was phenomenal. Within 24 hours, I think over 11,000 people signed up to DKMS and giving hope and a chance to hundreds and hundreds of other families. So obviously it's an ongoing process and that takes time, but it was brilliant.
How did that make you feel, Finley?
well,
Were you happy?
yeah.
11,000 people. From what you
people.
said, 11,000 people is amazing.
Pretty amazing. That's what you said at the time, didn't you? You want to help yourself, but also lots of other people as well. So, the good news, and this was only last Monday, so this is, you've just gone back to school, and tell us the phone call that you received.
Yeah, it was Tuesday. Finn went to school. We'd been asked to go into the hospital, and it was Finn's first day back, and they said they didn't need him to be there. So Finn went into school, and Paul and I went to Birmingham Children's and met with his specialist, Dr Lawson, and we were told that they'd searched the world, and they'd searched it again, and there were 5 9 out of 10 matches for Finn in Brazil. All of them in Brazil.
And Brazil actually has the highest number of people that are on the donor list, don't they? So they're getting it right over there.
Yes. I think one of their much-loved actresses was in need, and so lots of people signed up, which is why when you swabbed, it's fantastic having that high profile, you know, somebody that people look up to doing something it's brilliant.
So the 9 out of 10, it's not quite a 10 out of 10, but 9 out of 10 is brilliant. And your consultant said that actually this is absolutely fine and to continue and go with this.
They did 1 to 10, but they've said it's better to go with a 9 while Finn's doing so well than wait for a 10 that may never come and he could deteriorate. So we're going for it.
So what's the process now? What do you do?
So towards the end of October, Finn will have a central line put in his chest, which is like this, but he'll have 3 wigglies. And then on the 11th of November, he'll go into hospital and have intense chemotherapy for a week, and on the 18th he'll have his transplant, which will be the cells will be flown over from the amazing 43-year-old Brazilian gentleman that's helping.
Which is all you know about him.
That's all we will know for 2 years. Yeah, that's some selfless, wonderful human on the other side of the world.
Well, you said to one of our researchers, actually, I've fallen in love with a stranger.
I know. How can you love somebody you've never met?
Yeah.
They're helping our boy, so we do. We already love him, even though we won't know him.
It's and after 2 years, you mutually, if he agrees or you want to, then you can get in touch.
Yeah. We would love to meet. Yeah, definitely.
And so there's no, you know, sort of no putting icing on this cake. It's to get the effect that you want, and hopefully to put this all behind you. It's rough for a while, isn't it?
It's a gruelling process, yeah. There's so many unknowns, and that's the hardest thing. There's lots of ifs, buts and maybes. So the Children's Hospital at Birmingham have talked us through all the things that can happen, and they've told us to put them into 3 boxes of this will happen, this might happen, this is very unlikely, but we have to tell you about it anyway. So we know that there's a lot of risks attached, and, you know, there's some horrible side effects, but we have to keep our eyes on the prize, and that is
I
getting
suppose for you, Finley, that's the, you know, when you found out that there was the donor, this wonderful 43-year-old man in Brazil, who is this 9 out of 10 match. That's incredible. That's fantastic. But at the same time, you're thinking, oh, got to go to hospital. And was that something that you thought about?
Yeah, it's because like I have to have a small operation while they're putting my central line in, and I just felt a bit scared about it.
Yeah.
But they've done it thousands of times.
And lots of people have it done.
Yeah.
They do. And also, we should explain here, because this is complicated for us adults to understand the process of what he's going. The doctors do it all the time, but for us, it's like, well, how does this work? And Ollie is really important, actually, and you can see there, like you said, you've got the central line. So this is a way of explaining to children and keep the process of chemo as well. So how's he helping?
So this is from Molly Ollie's Wishes, which is an amazing charity that the hospital uses, and it explains about the central line. And Finn will actually have 3 wigglies. These are going to be his wigglies, and he'll have all his chemotherapy and any other medicines through there. And also the amount of times they have to check the bloods, it just stops them from having to put cannulas in all the time.
Once
and
it's there,
it's there. That's it, so it stays. But also, to explain about one of the things that chemotherapy does is obviously Finn will lose his hair, and so does Ollie, but look how gorgeous he is without it.
There you go.
He's beautiful either way.
He really is.
And there is a book that accompanies it, and also the Children's gave us this, which is just brilliant for breaking it down, making it really easy. And Finn was able to take this into school, and all of his friends heard about it in his class, and just so everybody understands, it makes it... I think the fear of the unknown is worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
So actually understanding what's going to happen just makes life easier.
And what about Dave? Because you've got to go into isolation. So, so what's the story with Dave the dog? Can he come with you?
Well, probably not, because he's well loved, and he's going to have to be washed every day, probably like very...
On a hot wash.
Yeah. So I don't think he'll last that long. So
Yeah. So maybe he would be, maybe he'd be outside, and you can just so you can see him.
And we've
type
got
of thing.
spares to take him with
Spares.
us.
It's always good to have a spare.
Well done.
The lovely Magic for us donated an extra couple for when he goes to transplant, which was very kind.
Very
So we'll always have one to wash and one to hug, one to wash, one to hug.
And so after all this is done, and it's sort of a 3-month process, isn't it, all of this?
We will be in hospital for probably a minimum of 3 months, part of which will be in isolation.
At the end of this, he will be totally cured.
That's the hope,
Wow.
Fingers crossed.
So, I mean, what a thing that would be.
Well, obviously you can't come in here without a few prezzies. So you have to have a prezzie when you come in. So what we've got now, I saw you this morning downstairs, and you got your own. You love lanyards and you love passes and things like that. You had your own one, but of course that didn't sort of open anything.
No.
Now both Holly and I have these. We always keep them behind these boxes here because we can't get back into our dressing room without our passes. So those are ours. That's Holly's. And that one's mine. So what we've done is we've made one for you. So you're now, that's your own personal one. You'll access all areas. OK? So there you go.
There you go, that's for you.
That's your
We won't
one.
get him out of here today.
Not until he's opened every door.
And you're also a bit of a Harry Potter fan as well, aren't you? So in there... You've got tickets for you and Mum and Dad to go to the making of the Harry Potter at Warner Brothers on a weekend before all your hospital treatments begin, so maybe the October half-term. Warner Brothers team are going to provide a private guided tour of the magical Harry Potter experience so you can step foot onto the real sets and fly a broomstick, come face-to-face with a dragon.
Brilliant. It's so
do
brilliant.
all of that.
You get to go on an actual broomstick and then, like, fly. It's amazing.
And also Kidzania in London have invited you for a day of fun. This is a city for kids to
It's
explore.
also really good. You get to make your own money and everything.
So you could become a pilot or a doctor or a police officer or a firefighter or any one of those things at Kidzania. So thank you to the making of Harry Potter at Warner Brothers, and thank you to Kidzania as well.
Well, we are so happy to have such good news on this story, and we'll be following your story, and you stay as brave and as brilliant as you are. And
Can we just quickly say, Finn wasn't alone, and he still isn't alone, and please can everybody that hasn't already signed up, please do so, because there's so many wonderful people out there in need of their hope and chance like Finn has got. So please keep signing up to dkms.org.uk.
And it is so easy to join the blood stem cell donor list. It's a simple swab that I did, and it could save someone's life. We'll put all the details on the app.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And if you get to the point where you think, I don't feel very well, just remember we're thinking of you, OK? And we're sending lots of love. OK, you'll be amazing. And we'll see you on the other side. Come and see us, OK?
Definitely.
All right, lots of love.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much. Thank
See you
you.
in a bit.